Hey everybody, Bill in Virginia. Welcome back. So I'm going to start where I left off on the last video, and I'm going to be adding in some little bit of ripples and waves on my little water scene here. It's not going to be extensive. It's going to be just a little bit on the subtle side, just to show some texture on it. So I went out to Michael's this afternoon and bought a very small bottle of Mod Podge, the gloss that I'll be using for that. They also had acrylic paints on sale, like 40% off. So I picked up a variety of the little pre-assembled packs where I've got different colors, including some skin tones, as well as a variety of blues and then some other colors behind that, some darker blues that I can use for painting shirts, clothing, things like that. So those I'll be using probably after Christmas is what I figure I'm going to be sitting down at my little modeling bench, not my little put together one that I'm showing here, but the ones that are behind the N scale, where I'll be building a variety of things for the O scale, as well as the HO and the N for details and different things and putting those on. But anyway, until then, let's start working with the Mod Podge and just get some texture down on this little water feature. Okay, I've got my Mod Podge put into a little water bottle lid, and let's do some applications here. This will dry clear. I'm just going to kind of put it in. It said, put it in thin, and then I'm going to use a straw to actually blow it. Put a little bit all along the edge, simply because that's where I did the work a little while ago to kind of this stuff they say put on thin, so I'm not going to be putting it on too thick at all here. It stinks. We'll make sure it kind of covers everything, because then I can come back in and I'm going to use a straw to kind of blow on it. Get some different textures going here. And I'm going to put sort of like a shadow in behind some of these rocks, at least as far as for anything big, because you would see that sort of on the leeward side of some different things out there. And just kind of going along. Okay, let's see. All right, well, so it says about 20 minutes and then do another layer here. So we'll see what it looks like. Okay, we'll let it sit and start to do its dry thing and then come back and see what we end up with. Now the Mod Podge is still drying, but if I can get it just right for the angle, it's kind of hard to see, but you can kind of see some swells in between the rocks. And then at this angle here, you can kind of see some additional swells. So just a little bit of texture, a little bit of wave action coming in this way. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to put any more on it. I'm just going to let this all dry and cure. Then I am going to come back in with a little bit of acrylic white. And I mean just a little. And a couple of little spots on a couple of the little waves and a few little bubbles to add along here, and just a little bit in a couple of different spots. Just to make it look like, you know, a little bit of froth on some of the water. Nothing that's turbulent, nothing like white water, but just to kind of capture on some of those little waves that are kind of washing ashore. But I've got that done, and I've been working on doing some other finished details on another part of the layout. We'll go over there and take a look at that next. So over on the first module, I have added a little bit of grass in between the tracks right here. That was an area that I still hadn't finished yet. So it's the only area on this module that I really haven't gotten everything completed. So adding in some grass, I will sift some more dirt, a combination of the brownish and the darker organic brown to kind of put in through here. And then I will be starting to turn some attention to this area, which is the last area. I've got some things that I'm going to do over here. The plan is to kind of use this plastic kit as a template for a scratch build. Not 100% like this, but kind of close because I like the shape of it. It fits in this area nicely. Maybe I'll condense it just a little bit to fit there. I've also got a branch line water tower, that kit that I bought at Glue Stop Hobbies quite a while ago. I got it put together somewhere in here. I've also got an O-scale like conveyor, so I can get a coal pile kind of put in over here as well. There's going to be a road cutting across somewhere like right through here over to this building. Right in here is where I'm thinking of putting a small single stall engine shed. Very narrow, just enough to kind of work on it. Like from here, this little butt end will be out the back side of it, or maybe right to there. Just something very simple in this location here, just to kind of pull an engine in, do a little bit of service work. Then we'll have room for all kinds of odds and ends that you would see out here. You know, and then coming over into here, and this might be wood piles, this might be, you know, storage of different materials and goods, you know, variety of things that I can do. This is like a waypoint on the narrow gauge as it's kind of snaking its way through the mountains. A fueling point, a watering point, a quick little service point, and then we'll just have all kinds of fun junk, like what you would expect to see. So a lot to do yet, but let's go on to do something else here. So back over here for a little bit, Monday night after work, and I'm going to do a little highlight painting. So I'm going to use a toothpick with a squished end. You know, I tap this against the table a number of times just to get it a little flat so it'll pick up a little bit of paint. Got ever so little white paint just from a acrylic paint bottle, and a damp paper towel. So if I make a mistake, I can just quickly wipe it off, because I'm just not sure yet on how this will all work out here. But let's start doing just a little bit of highlighting. Yeah, again, I'm not wanting too much, just a few little spots here and there. And I'll take the other side of the toothpick and just kind of rub it in a little bit. Just kind of smear it a little, just to kind of give it a little bit of color. Doesn't have to be much. And just kind of come in along the waves. You can kind of see where I've got my little ripples. And I got to kind of look at some of these too here. A little bit more around this one. Get a little bit more, and make my finger just a hair damp. There we go. So, like I said, I don't want much. Just a few little marks here and there. Just to give it the illusion there's actually a little movement going on. If you're ever beside rivers and you're kind of watching the water flow, you know, if it's not a big river, you get these little currents, you get a few little bubbles, a little bit of froth sort of comes up once in a while closer to the shore. So you just get a little bit just where the water is a little bit more turbulent. It's just a little bit more here. I'm not going to do too much more. I'll do just a little bit. Just a hair more. Make sure I see where my water's at. As far as for my little waves. All right, that's all I'm going to put on. Just short, sweet, just a little bit here and there. Just enough to give it a little highlight. Doesn't have to be much. The river is not raging. There's not big waves slapping into the shore or around the rocks, but just enough to give an indication that I've got movement. Yeah, good enough. The scene is officially complete. Now back over to do some more on the center module. So now back over here. So nothing on the middle module. I'm still finishing up this piece. So I've got my dirt and other odds and ends. I'm going to go get a few pieces of small scrap, like little wood type things that I can lay down in there, and then I'm going to glue it down. And then once I get it glued, that's going to wrap it up for this one. I think I'm already at about 15 minutes overall, which makes this video long enough. And that way, when I start the next one, should be fully focused on this area here. So let me get this one done real quick, and we'll come back and close this one out. Glue has been applied, so I will just let this dry, and it will dry to a lighter color, a little bit darker than the dirt under the rails, but not by too much. And I did add a little bit more over there because I had a little bit of plaster still exposed, so I've got that taken care of. So I'm going to let this dry, kind of clean up the rails a little bit right here, and then what I will do is I will move the trains out of the center area and get started over here. I've still got a fair amount to do, but this should be a fun one, as this will have some build. So I do anticipate this one taking longer because I'm going to have to do more kind of fine detailed work as I'm building up some structures here. So with that, keep having fun on your layouts. Until next time.